tonight. So if you have any questions to ask of them.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you in here remember him, but thank you so much for that award. I don't know what to say about that other than what I was doing was nothing more than following through as a good friend to give support, love, and to be there and be present. So, and I'm so glad Marty's here. Marty's Don's wife over there. So what I have to share here tonight, I know for sure that Marty supports and stands behind all of that as well. So thanks for the opportunity to spend this time to celebrate him. Yeah. So back to Hypno Thoughts Live. I'm going to give you my picture because I'm doing a couple of classes there as well. So I'm doing 2 rapid induction tricks, how to use them in your office, but I'm also going to cover a little bit of that tonight as well. And then also the other one, Love, Care, and Train Your Man. So that is my husband back there working the camera, so this is a really good time to segue into that. But back to Dawn. I'm really hoping that tonight what I have to share will be of benefit to you, because that was the spirit of Dawn Rice, right? To give back and share techniques and skills and all of that. And the best way for me to do that tonight, because I'm fighting being emotional about it, so I want to be as clear about it as I can. So the best way for me to do that is to read from my notes. So apologize for not looking out at your beautiful faces and the great spirit and energy that's out there. My apologies for that. All of you here are amazing practitioners, and we come from a varied array of our skill set and our personal beliefs and all of that. And Dawn was one of those rare individuals, I think, that brought us all together and could communicate and touch and reach out to each one of us. And each one of us is doing what we're doing. We're practitioners because we truly care about helping people and giving them hope that they need so that they can get better in whatever it is they come to see us for. So I, just like you, found a way to do that. And that was through my professional relationship with Dawn Rice. And that began about 9 years ago. Early on, while working with Dawn, I quickly realized there were a number of hypnosis techniques that he repeated over and over again with tremendous success. And I decided to follow that model. He was planning on, and he was expecting to be standing here today and to continue to share those ideas with you. And Dawn knew that this organization did at some point, because Lou Heller had reached out months ago wanting to set aside a time to recognize his contribution to our hypnosis community. Unfortunately, Dawn had asked me to defer any sort of event that would address his recognition for that, because he wanted to wait until he was cured and 100% and healthy, standing here like he believed he'd be doing tonight. That was his perception. Had he seen this from a different perspective, he would have realized that the odds were really against him, unfortunately. So speaking of odds, you had brought forth some numbers earlier. It'll be interesting to reflect upon those after what I have to share. But numbers can be a telling bit of evidence. But don't worry, because for you, there will be no math skills or tasks for you to do tonight. Let me do all the work. You just sit there, relax, and take what you want or need or feel like is the right thing for you tonight. Take it easy and just enjoy. So we're mostly going to play with 3 numbers tonight. Basic numbers dealing with fourths. Nice and easy. So 75% plus 25% is 100%. Yeah, I did make you work, sorry. I'm tricky. But we can take the same relationship from a different point of view. So 3 plus 1 is 4. All adds up. So we can play with these numbers all we want, and depending upon our perspective, we can have a little bit of fun. So yeah, we can have fun with some math tonight, even though we're here to talk about hypnosis, but it'll all come together. And hopefully we can change our perception. And after all, we are experts, aren't we, at helping others perhaps look at their perspective and change their perception of what it is that's going on and help them and give them hope. We do it for ourselves and we can do it for other people because we all know here that hypnosis works, right? Yeah. Yes, we do. So again, let's play an easy numbers thing. So 75%, is that a good number or not?
Depends.
Yeah, it depends, doesn't it? It depends on your perspective. A stock market gain of 75%, woo, yeah, right? 75% of losing weight. Say you lost 75 pounds when you wanted to lose 100. That's pretty darn good. Yeah. But likewise, a loss of 75% in your stock market account, not so good. So your perspective, it all depends upon that.
It's the candidates' popularity ratings right now. Unpopularity ratings, 75%.
Yeah, there you
Not
go.
a good thing.
It's amazing. Yes, so much going on right now, which I can lead to a famous quote from Abraham Lincoln, that we can complain because roses have thorns, or we can rejoice that thorn bushes have roses. So we can play with that too. So let's go back to Don Rice and let's play with him a little bit right now, right? Because he's here. So I'm going to imagine that his energy, or perhaps I really know, that his form is in this room right now. So we can agree on that probably, right? We can bring him in here with thought, and some of us have some other abilities that we can agree with that on. So I'm going to give you a number. I'm just going to throw it out. I'm just going to throw out 75%. So let's just say 75% of Don Rice is here, because I'm standing here talking about Don Rice, and he's in our thoughts right now, in whatever fashion that may be.
He's actually so large, he's filling almost all of this room.
What kind of shoes does he have on?
They look like alligators.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yes.
is his favorite color light blue? Because he's light blue.
You would have to ask Marty what his favorite color is. Yeah, his wife.
Well, and red.
But red was on women. There's a difference. Yeah. So 75% of the space, we're going to get to Dawn, right? So that leaves me with 25%. So here I am doing all the talking, so I'm going to claim that 25%, right? And hopefully, I'm going to imagine that I can deliver 1/4 of what he would hope to share with you tonight. We were supposed to be recording for Skype. We'll see if we can somehow, since I'm recording, we'll see if we can get Umesh some of the video from tonight. That'd be great. So some of you may not know my relationship with Don and why it is that I'm standing here in his place when I know he thought he would be here physically. So I'm just going to address and answer some questions, hopefully, about his journey and what happened at the end of 2015 and 2016. And then secondly, what I'd like to do is give you an overview of some of the hypnosis techniques that we used. Spoiler alert, right? It didn't have a good outcome, right? He didn't make it. So you might wonder, maybe, how effective those hypnosis techniques were. I get it, and I'm going to address that. I will. And you were right, it didn't work, but I can also say that Don had documented cancer at least 3 times prior. Don won 3 times out of 4. Yeah? He beat cancer 3 times out of 4. And that was a 75% success rate. I think that's pretty good. Thirdly, Don and I talked about what he planned to do next. And that was to share with others his tried and true techniques that he used over the past 20 years. So I'd like to highlight those and perhaps demonstrate. We probably don't have time, but that's for another time and space. Don had been visibly ill for the last half of 2015, but he was very private and he hid it very well. So you may have been surprised to have heard about his death. In addition to his latest battle, he was struggling with a form of dementia, Lewy bodies. Surprise, he also wished at that time to keep that private. But Don was all about sharing his knowledge. That's what I'm here for right now. He loved being able to help people. We were so devoted to that task that he and I, even though he was ill, we continued that journey to the National Guild of Hypnotists in Massachusetts in August of 2015. Most people still didn't know how ill that he was, but now that you know, I'm sure it's clear how devoted he was to hypnotherapy and sharing his knowledge. In addition, 2 weeks later, we traveled to Las Vegas for HypnoThoughts Live coming up. I hope to see a lot of you there this year. And I don't know how he passed through the Phoenix TSA because we were certain they were going to flag him. So up until his diagnosis, after that, that was the most ill I had ever seen him. And I still don't believe Marty knew the events that transpired that day to get on that airplane in Phoenix to go to Vegas for HypnoThoughts Live. We were baffled, Don and I. As soon as we passed through security, we sat down. How in the hell did we get past TSA? He was that ill at that moment. But he had resolved to share his knowledge with other hypnotists. Even now, after his transition to his next place, he is here now, and he's sharing his skill, his knowledge through me. So I'm going to be sharing some of his techniques because he and I wanted this to be about hypnotherapy and hope. The end of November 2015, he found out he had cancer of the pancreas, and a week later he scheduled surgery, and they removed most of his bile ducts, all of his gallbladder, half of the pancreas, half of his stomach, part of the small intestine. 8 hours later, the 79-year-old man had a replumbed digestive system. As with most pancreatic cancer patients, once you're diagnosed with the disease, it has progressed to a significant enough state that treatment options are brutal. Unfortunately, he was one of the 75% of Whipple surgery patients that find themselves with metastasized cancer cells that scatter throughout the body during or post-surgery. For us, we found that out 4 months post-op, that he was terminal. I'm standing here because I was part of his personal care team for those 5 months. The week he scheduled surgery, he asked me to be with him and Marty throughout. My roles were varied and very humbling as well. As difficult as it was to let my best friend go, it was an honor to be with Marty and Don. It really was. And this couldn't have happened without the support of my 2 sons and my husband Ken back there. And I'm so grateful to them for that. And I'm also grateful to have had the opportunity to be by his side. And that allowed Marty the space to deal with her own transition. So thank you for allowing me to be that person for you. I love you very much. And as difficult as it may be to truly, as difficult as that was, I can claim intimate understanding with a quote from a comedian, George Carlin. Some people see the glass half full. Some people see the glass half empty. I choose to see the glass twice as big as it should be. As hypnotists and healers, we are masters of manipulating perception and perspective in what my son calls relative intellection. During Don's last 4 weeks, hospice was called in. He remained at home with me, Marty, and Don's son, Buck, He continually lost weight. He required a lot of pain medications that were mysteriously delivered by a ring on the doorbell, 10 p.m. at night. You'll like this. With man, with suit, short old man, in a plaid red hat, with lit a bag, 10 p.m. at night. man helped us out. April 16th, 2016, Don passed at his home at the age of 80 due to pancreatic cancer. During a May 2016 TED Talk, Laura Indolfi points out that only 8% of patients survive 5 years after diagnosis. Compare that to a 90% survival rate of breast cancer. Pancreatic cancer is the third leading cause of cancer deaths in 2016. And that 8% cure rate, that remains virtually unchanged for the last 40 years. Now, 8% might be a decent rate of annual return on your stocks, but not so much for survival rate. Don's spirit left 36 hours prior to his physical body. He took his last breath under an open window, holding on to my youngest son's hand. So you see, this guy was pretty special to me, and I will always be excited to share with you his techniques that work, that help people, that give people hope, people just like you. I'm here for you for that. And it's very likely, isn't it, that most of us in here were influenced by Don, or perhaps you acquired some skill or technique, or just a thought from him. And then there are those of us who maybe were humored by this stout man who wore brightly colored snakeskin boots, a big diamond earring, slicked back white hair, who raced up to these meetings in a slick convertible with a dragon decal on the side. So perhaps you're waiting to hear how Don and I used hypnosis while he was recovering. We all know the fact is he did not recover. So you may be wondering, how can these ideas that I'm wanting to share with you can help you or even help others? Remember, Don had a 75% success rate with hypnosis to cure himself 3 times out of 4 for cancer. So these techniques do work. This time it didn't. 3 out of 4 instances of adenocarcinoma, that's the bad cancer, folks. He was successful. And these are similar techniques that he used then. Our process had 3 stages. We had planned on 2. The first stage, that was just simply pre-surgical, and I'll go into them in a little more detail. And the second stage was post-surgical and recovery. And then lastly, and unexpectedly, was facilitating his transition to his next level of being. So with the time constraints, I'm just going to broadly paint a stroke of those steps. And like I said, we're filming it, so we'll get it posted on YouTube somehow, and you can refer back to it later. Pre-surgical consisted mostly of stress reduction, encapsulating the cancer for easy removal by the surgeon, expecting a positive outcome, muscle recall for strength, expecting an easy surgery, and I anchored in, and I don't know if you were privy to that, Marty. I was so worried you'd come in while we were doing it, but I had anchored in a kinesthetic and an auditory, and visual didn't come into play, but an anchor to get his bowels moving. So I'll share that with you. But anyway, that worked great, by the way. So I would do that again with anybody in a heartbeat. Second stage was post-surgical and recovery. And that consisted mostly of relaxation, healthy tissue healing, all body systems flowing smoothly and normally, activating his appetite, regulating his bowel movements. We had gratitude therapy, we had forgiveness therapy, we had residual cleanup all through his body, chakra balancing, activation of the separation and elimination of any toxic compounds that were still residing in his body, removal of the anesthesia. We added comfort, affirmations, future timeline, seeing himself as healthy, mobile, active, and intellectually stimulated. The third phase, we did a couple of sessions with meeting his spiritual counsel. meeting and conversing with his spirit guides, stress reduction, perceiving the veil and acknowledging the light, along with all the myriad of other presence that we had during those sessions. But there wasn't really much to do because those last 4 weeks, he was pretty much uncommunicative, yeah? So it was hard to get feedback. So remember, 3 out of 4 times, this stuff was successful. So last night, I imagined me standing here, where I am right now, and I asked myself, what would Don want me to do tonight? What would he want from me to share? To share what? Skills so that you can help people, techniques so that you can believe in yourself. But mostly the message of hope. Dawn had always said that in our profession, one of the most important things we did was we gave people hope. And you, my colleagues, are in a position to help people see that there is hope for their own healing or perhaps for yourself. You, we hypnotists and healers, we give others hope that they can feel better, they can see better, that they can be better. And we see the improvements with our clients, our friends, and ourselves. Hope is in your words that you share with others. I'm optimistic, and I do have something of value to share with you tonight. And if you knew that what you did could bring you a 75% or higher success rate, then my hope is that you'll take that skill that you have right now, right, and you have that skill already. And make a positive difference in the lives of yourselves and others. My goal, my wish actually, is that you get it right 75% of the time. But that's me, that's just me. That's my wish. But you like me, you're here because you want to help people and yourself and others. But you already know all this. Dawn Rice was an expert with children's hypnosis, stop smoking, stage shows, subconscious mind therapy, his KISS hypnosis techniques, and rapid inductions. That's just going down the list of those highlights that he was just right on. Yeah, and a lot of you have taken classes from him on that. And you all in here are amazing individuals. You're talented, you're smart, you're skilled, you have the heart, the desire, the drive to make this world a better place. And Kate had mentioned something earlier that reminded me that we do our best. But you know, our best is always changing. So this 25% of what I'm representing here tonight, going over that list of what he was really superb at doing. My hope is to be able to demonstrate a couple of these. We're constrained with time. We have a wonderful speaker back there, so let me know, give me a fingers up. But just right now, just kind of place your hands on the table where you are. That's right. Just put your hands on the table, kind of push your chairs back. Now that I got you, turn forward. Just kind of push yourself away. Just push yourself away from the table. Put your hands there, push yourself away. There you go. All right, stand up. I'd be wondering, yeah, why am I standing up? I know, ask the person next to you. But anyway, what I need is one volunteer up here right now. Come on, Debbie. This is a quick one, all right? You can have a seat. Thank you.
You can always count on Debbie.
Always count on Debbie. That's right. You can, too, in so many ways. She's a wonderful person. You are.
We're 100% effective with Dawn.
Yeah,
It was his choice. And so,
it has, yes, and we all have our point of view, and we all have our perception of all of that. So I welcome all of those different ideas and thoughts about that, but yeah, thank you. Rapid inductions. Yeah, you guys can do this. Maybe just, you know what, I'm going to turn you sideways a little bit because we're always so stuck in the normal of, you know, this, right? Sit sideways. There you go. Oh, we're going to go sides out. Yeah. Some of you guys laugh at that. So one of Don's really easy techniques for rapid hypnosis, it was called the wave. Officially in his KISS hypnosis scripts, it was called the wave. I don't know what it is. But anyway, it was so easy. It's going to feel so good, right? So, I don't know, it's probably going to take a minute or something, not even that. Just find a spot in the palm of my hand, yeah, and just stare at that spot. Got it? Good. Just taking a deep breath and follow that spot, looking up. There you go, and exhale. Perfect. Feels good already. Breathe in. Good. Breathe out. Breathe in. Close your eyes. And just relax and sleep. And Dawn was so comfortable to just fall into, right? And you're all going to find your own place and your own comfort level with that. And just deepening that feeling. Oh my goodness, there she goes. Just sweet. I know you all can do that if you want to. So Debbie, in a minute, you're going to hear my energy and the way that I'm speaking and the way that my body's moving. You're going to hear it and feel it and just know that it's increasing. And you're going to find that that actually increases your very own energy. So that, I don't know, it might take you 5 seconds, might take you 30 seconds. You're going to be alert, aware. You're going to feel really good, really terrific. And you're just going to open your eyes here in another few seconds, or maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds. And you're going to open your eyes. You're just going to feel really good that you came up here and shared with us. And you go back to your seat just feeling really, really good. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and let you just sit right there. And just relax and be comfortable. There you go. And you know, another thing that Dawn was so good at were stage shows. And Dawn really made those stage shows really simple and really easy. And just Debbie's just kind of really feeling herself where she is, but she also knows that this energy is just kind of coming up in here with stage shows, you know, all the fun stuff that people do up on stage. Yeah, she said she wants. All right, so children's hypnosis. He made it really simple for them. I jumped from stage to children's hypnosis, yeah. But children's hypnosis, you know, we had the magic crystal, using a little tiny crystal, a cheap one, expensive, whatever you want, on a string with the kids, and let it kind of drop in their lap and their hands, and the kids would close their eyes. That was one of his favorite techniques to use with that. You may recall him using a flashlight. And the flashlight, he'd have a kid, flashlight in their hand, and they would imagine whatever the problem was, they would find their problem, their issue, wherever that was, and they'd illuminate it. They might even heal it. We've all heard maybe his stories about WD-40 and all that stuff, but really simple things. Stage shows. If you ever took a stage show from Don Rice, you walked away with a list of skits that would get you through 60 to 90 minutes of a show. I mean, you had skill in your hand just leading. He made his shows very simple. He did not have music. He had these little set lists for the night stapled behind a business card. He'd go down his list and throw it away, and he'd go on to his next, just kind of viewing his little set list here. Put it back in his pocket, right? Yes, okay, good. And in that 60 minutes, it was 10 minutes of fun stuff, introductions, and then 8 minutes or so of progressive relaxation. He used that same progressive relaxation on stage as he did in his clinical office. And he always started his stage shows with probably the same joke. How many people in here know me? Raise your hands. How many people in here don't know me? Of course, everybody would raise their hand. How many people in here don't really care? Right? So anyway, stop smoking, 1 hour. He gave you a 2-year guarantee to come back for free, $299. That was the same for the last 9 years. His price, his technique, all of that. KISS hypnosis techniques. He used the same scripts. The formula that he used always had self-esteem and stress reduction. Subconscious mind, treasure chest of the mind. So if 75% of everyone in here, so that's 3 out of 4 of you, could go home tonight, and maybe this week you could report back that you had a positive impact on someone's life, then we've done pretty well. But even if my imagined idea of that 25% of what Dawn could give you tonight that I provided, then I'm happy with that. And that'd be good enough for me. But I wonder if actually, no, I anticipate that 3 out of 4 of you will give hope to someone else in your life, maybe even yourself, in hopes of improving that person's life. That'd be good enough for me, wouldn't it? Yeah? In the ends of the world, said the caterpillar. It is the end of the world, said the caterpillar. It's the beginning of the world, said the butterfly. Thank you. Come on up. Feels pretty good, yep. I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I reach that count 5, you're going to open your eyes, feeling really, really good. You ready for that? Yeah? Good. 1, 2, just let that energy begin to move back into your body. Go ahead and let's begin to move back in. Taking a nice deep breath for me, 2. Moving right on up to 3. Feeling so good. Feeling so very good. From 3 to 4 and 5, go ahead and just let those eyes open up. Yeah. Watch right spots. All